Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather coming at you with another video. In this update, we're going to be talking about an upcoming major winter storm that's going to be impacting the upper Midwest into the mid-Atlantic, then eventually into the New England through the 16th and through the 19th of this week. So before I do get started, if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel as I will upload about 5 videos a week to keep you updated. All right, so let's get started. So here we're going to start off with the overall temperature maps for tomorrow morning on Wednesday. And you can see that cold push that we've been talking about for a while now is finally going to be releasing into the United States, dumping teens below zero into Montana and the Dakotas and into Minnesota. And this cold air will make a beeline towards the mid-Atlantic and dump in heavy snow throughout the week. And we're going to go over all that. But you can see as far as the precipitation type and the kind of the overall surface map for Wednesday afternoon, it's just kind of getting going. We've got a mini low pressure here in the central part of the United States, some rain showers off in the southeast. But we've got more cold Arctic air coming in behind that, and it's even getting colder where we kind of max out this week with almost 30 degrees below zero now in the Dakotas and into Minnesota. And this is dangerous cold air. Some of these wind chills are going to be 40 below in some of these spots. So, and you can see this cold push kind of makes a mini surge to the south this week and kind of stalls out in Texas before it actually pushes through on Saturday. But the overall surface map, we're watching this low pressure coming off the coast of California. You can see this Arctic high pressure, 1048 Arctic high pressure. That's deepening cold air. We've got another little feature coming off the New England coast, and that's a separate feature. But this cold front will swing off, and you can see these isobars tightening up. Will swing off more rain into Texas, and could be heavy thunderstorms again for you guys down in the south. But if we kind of expand the view, now we kind of see that developing storm system really get its act together over the Rockies. Now it's dipping down to a 10004 low pressure system, and as these isobars tighten up, it'll start dumping some snow. This will be Friday about noon now on the 17th, dumping some snow into eastern parts of the Dakotas. Now we're getting some snow into Minnesota. Get some ice events will start to change over in Missouri and dumping snow, and you can see the 540 line. That's the kind of the demarcation line of where typically would snow on the north and rain on the south. You can see that those rain showers over the Illinois swinging into Indiana. If we take it on another frame, you can see that low pressure now to start to deepen. Now we've got kind of the darker blues kind of showing up now over Minnesota, dumping heavy snow over Wisconsin now, with sometimes 1 to 2 inch snowfall rates. And dumping, and you can see that 540 millibar line, kind of the demarcation line. The south side has rain, and the north side kind of split the uprights on Indiana and the Ohio Valley. So I think the northern side is going to see a lot more snow, and then you're going to have a break in the middle where you're going to have a rain. So if you're in Indiana or Ohio, basically you draw a line in the middle. On the south, you got all rain. On the north, you got all snow. So that's kind of how it's going to work out for you guys in that part of the country. But as this low swings up, you can see it deepen even further. Now it's 1,001 millibar and bring up in, again, heavy snow now over Michigan now. And this will finally get into Pennsylvania. So we might kind of a changeover into ice at times, but all snow, especially into, I'm thinking 2 to 4 inches in Pittsburgh. But on the north side, 6 to 8, even 10 inches for much of western PA, getting into the central Pennsylvania, and this will eventually swing on to New York and deepen even further over the New England states. Now we're down to 997 millibar, and this is by Saturday night. This low really deepens, and it could hang out. This is kind of just preliminary. This is Tuesday, so I'm kind of give you an early look at this snowstorm. This will take you all the way through Saturday night now. But as this low deepens, it'll bring in more cold air and deep in these isobars. Now we might be talking heavy snow over Maine, where they could get a foot plus in spots, and we'll go over the snow totals at the end. But this low will track even further to the east and deepen even further. Now we're down to 993, and these isobars are really tightening up now, spending heavy snow over Maine. And if we take it out another frame, and this is of course by Sunday morning now, this low really deepens down to a 986. And if we take it out another frame, it actually goes down to 980. So where they're expecting just pretty much a blizzard in Nova Scotia. But definitely parts of Maine, I think you're going to be, you know, impacted with almost up to 24 inches in spots as this low really starts to crank, and it really starts to crank down to a 980 millibar by Sunday. Now let's take a look at some of the overall snowfall totals, and this is the latest GFS model, and you can kind of see the frame down here at the bottom, the legend. 2 to 4 inches are pretty good common mounts in parts of the Dakotas and South Dakota. But now we're starting to get some of those higher amounts in Minnesota from 6, 8, 10 inches. This is what this model thinks, and even some higher amounts. And now we're getting some of those darker reds of 12 inches and some spots 15 inches over Wisconsin there. But on the south side, you can kind of see that zone where we're going to get a little bit heavier snow on the north side of Iowa, some snow in Missouri, into Illinois and Indiana and Ohio. So again, I think on the south side, this model has snow a little bit further south, and then more snow over Pennsylvania, heavier snow into New York, and really heavy snow once you get into the New England coast, where you could be getting 12 to 24 inches on the north side. On the south side, 6 to 10 inches are pretty common amounts. But if you look at the Canadian model, that's a little bit more bullish. It actually brings the snow just a tad bit further south. Now we're getting to the heavier snows in like Chicago, where they're thinking 6 to 10 inches of snow. On the north side of Indiana, on the north side of Ohio, much of Pennsylvania is going to get entrenched with 6 to 10 inches of snow. A lot heavier snow and into like Albany and Syracuse and northern parts of New Hampshire and Vermont, and especially into Maine, where you're going to be getting some of the heavier snows, and definitely into Michigan too, where on the north side, I think you're going to be getting probably 15 inches plus. So if you take a look at the latest Euro model, and this updates every 12 hours, but they think, again, 2 to 4 inches on the eastern side of the Dakotas, 6 to 10 inches parts of Minnesota, a good 6 to 12, and Michigan. On the south side, some 3 inches in Missouri, a good 2 to 4 inch swath on the north side, 6 to 12 in New York, and then it's showing those heavier amounts into Maine. And then I put my own map together and kind of give you a summary of all this, of what I think is going to happen. So I've demarked a 2 to 4 inch line on the eastern sides of the Dakotas, and down in Nebraska, down into Lincoln, into Des Moines, Iowa, thinking 2 to 4 inches, into Springfield, Illinois, down to Indianapolis, Indiana, 2 to 4 inches, into Pittsburgh, 2 to 4 inches, down into Jersey and Philly, 2 to 4 inches. But on the north side, a good swath of 6 to 12 inches for pretty much the entire state of Wisconsin, and some higher amounts, definitely into Madison and Iowa. But once we get into Michigan here, now we're starting to get some of those little bit heavier amounts. Again, 6 to 12 inches are pretty common amounts, but I would not be surprised if you get 15 inches plus in some isolated spots. But as this swings up, much of Pennsylvania will be getting 6 to 10 inches of snow. But on the north side, like places like Syracuse and Albany, well, I think Albany's already foreseen a lot of snow this year. It's going to be getting heavier snow, at least 12 inches plus, and up in your area, and especially on the south side, where like Boston, I'm thinking 6 to 10 inches, and then on the north side, kind of northern parts of Vermont and New Hampshire, where it's going to have that line where you're going to be getting some of those 12-inch plus. So if you live in this area right here in the north side, like Bangor, Maine, or Caribou, Maine, or places like that, I'm thinking you could get anywhere from 12 to 24 inches, and especially as this low really deepens to a 986 to a 988 millibar by Sunday, this really starts to crank out some heavy snow up in Maine. And again, this is going to be essentially from the 16th through the 19th. It'll slightly get going by the 16th, but it'll really start cranking up by the 17th, the 18th, and especially into the 19th as this swings off into the New England coast. So that kind of gives you kind of a first glance and overall summary of how I think this upcoming major winter storm is going to play out and kind of the mark. Of course, I'll be talking about a lot of this throughout the week. Of course, this is only Tuesday, so we're talking all the way through Sunday now. So the track and some of these amounts could change, but this kind of give you my first preliminary look at this upcoming winter storm. Definitely like this video, and please subscribe to my channel and share with your friends on social media, and definitely catch me in the next video where I protect you before and after the storm.